Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Blind Press YouTube channel and the coffee stream. And it is, of course, Monday, which makes it Mobility Monday. And I do have some things to talk about today. We have a couple of news articles, and although I don't think I can actually show you the episode, oh, excuse me, of course I go live and yawn. Although I cannot actually show you the episode because I'll get hit. We're going to talk about a Family Guy episode today. And oh my god, although it's like season 21 Family Guy, and I really, I've kind of stopped watching Family Guy after about season 12. This was reminiscent of old Family Guy. But we are going to wait a little bit, let some more people come in, and then we'll get to all the Mobility Monday things. Hello, W.R. Costin. Hello, Spittlebuggies. I've never watched Family Guy, so I'll take your word for it. Spittlebuggies, you have not watched Family Guy. Yeah, Family Guy is very hard to, you either like it or you don't. Ice hockey, now that is a real women's game. I wouldn't mind playing blind hockey, but my back would. My back very much would mind playing hockey, which sucks because I love skating. Skating is really fun, and it's great exercise. There's nothing quite like skating, just going skating with somebody and just skating around a rink and just talking. Huh! Pink Hollow says, okay, I was just informed if we lowball by $125,000, then we may never be allowed to speak to that realtor again. Right? So that's what I was afraid of. Because there is such a thing as an insulting lowball. Do you know what I mean? And 125 grand is one of those insulting lowballs. I don't have TV, just Netflix. I'm not sure. I think Family Guy's on Hulu. So Blue House it is. Yeah. Yeah. TV, is that still a thing? Okay, boomer. Yeah, I don't think I haven't had cable, and when we did have cable, it wasn't even ours. It was my mom's cable, because when we left our apartment, we were like, we're not getting cable again. And when we moved in here, we just didn't. So we have Netflix, we have Prime. So yeah. So yeah, we're when I tell you this Family Guy episode is amazing. Like, I might actually do a full-on review with like clips and everything. But that'll be a lot of work for Pink Hollow. So I don't know, but this episode was fucking fantastic. If you so I know Spittlebuggies has not watched Family Guy, but if you remember, I think it was season 5 of Family Guy, where Peter decided he was going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for eating the most nickels, and he like gave himself nickel poisoning and went blind for like 2 weeks or something like that. That one was okay. That one was sort of funny. This one, on the other hand, holy shit. So, we all know that our favorite blind person, Molly Burke, went on The Daily Show over the summer. And hold on, let me just check something. What was the air date of... Oh, hold on. What was the air date of Family Guy's season 21, episode 21?
Okay. Season 21 Family Guy, 1999 IMDb. Season 21 Family Guy Fan and Wiki. Season 21 is the 21st season of Family Guy currently airing on Fox. It premiered on September 4th, 2022 with Oscar Guy and ended on March 26th. Ellipsis. Familiguthan.fandom.com. Show Google results. Listen.
Okay, so September...
Family Guy, season 21. Wikipedia. Websites. Heading. Websites. Family Guy, season 21. Wikipedia. The 21st season of the American animated television series Family Guy premiered on Fox on September 25th, 2022. This season aired the series 400. Ellipsis.
Okay, so it's... Yeah, this is the current season. Hey, Blake Star! So we have this season of Family Guy airing in September. Now, Molly went on The Daily Show in July. Okay. This episode of Family Guy, Lois goes for LASIK surgery because she's farsighted. Okay. Due to some silly complication, Lois comes out of LASIK blind. They basically turn Lois into Molly Burke, complete with an appearance on Ellen DeGeneres instead of The Daily Show. Okay. And they give her this brand of I see you. Okay? Whereas instead of like the B Club, it's I see you. and Lois, like, there are so many times in the episode where Lois just keeps going, "Oh, I'm so blind. Oh, I'm so blind." And it's like the amount of videos where Molly does the exact same thing. It's like, I feel like Seth MacFarlane has been watching my coverage of Molly Burke along with making his own inferences from watching her on The Daily Show, but it was just so fucking hilarious. It was just, and like at one point she just markets her blindness, like uses her blindness, and she's like, "I'm just gonna make money. I'm gonna roll it in rake in the money," and it's just the grift, the grift. Oh my god, this straight up grift. It done in famous Family Guy style. But I was watching, I'm like, oh my god, it's Molly Burke. It's fucking Molly Burke. Family Guy is making fun of Molly Burke. This is amazing. This is fucking amazing. And I'm like, does she know? Does she know? And if she did, is she taking it as a compliment? Or is she, like, secretly very upset? I would take it as a compliment. And, like, I would either take it as a compliment that I've been recognized. Like, you want representation in mainstream media, Molly? There you go. Fucking Seth MacFarlane made fun of you. That's pretty equal. right? Because he's gone after some pretty big names. Okay, I would take that as an extreme compliment. And a good Fury Kitten says a good piss taking is always a compliment. Exactly. And if there were parts of that that made her at all uncomfortable, well, maybe it's time for some introspection. You know what I mean? But like, I really wonder if Molly Burke knows that there's an episode of Family Guy in a current season. And I wonder how many blind people that watched that episode figured it out. Right? And I wonder how many of Molly's sighted subscribers watch Family Guy and figured it out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I because it's, if you're in the community, right? You know, it is so obvious, right? If you're in the blind community, if you know anything about the person he's very clearly making fun of, it's, I really want to know how many people actually caught it. I really do. $549,000. Are you looking for a condo in Stratford? If you share the link that I sent in DMs, it has the timestamp in it. Yeah, hold on. Let me grab the link for you guys and put it in chat. Oops. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, if you're like, I'm gonna put the link here for you guys with the it's got a timestamp, this link. So after the stream, you guys go and watch this and then come back and comment on the video, like of the upload of the stream. Come back and comment how there you go. Spittlebuggy says, driving Pink Hollow the Driving Ape, that sounds like an acceptable offer. The owner should counter unless the owner has said firm. But the realtor is being a bit sensitive. Just do your job, realtor. Probably cuts too much into their commission. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But yeah, if you go after the stream, just watch that episode and tell me, like, because you guys have watched my coverage of Molly for years, right? It's, and his mockery of her is spot fucking on. And it's not even like distasteful. Like, it's not even, you know how there are some ways you can do it in poor taste? No, it's just accurate. It's just accurate. And it's like, oh my god. Like, whew. I really want to know how many of Molly's fans have seen this episode, or how, if Molly herself knows it exists, because I have a feeling she would probably not react well to that. And I kind of want to know. I kind of want to see how she, like, the shit disturber in me wants to know how she would react to that. Because as I said, if Seth MacFarlane, if I tuned into an episode and there was like some blind gamer chick playing, like blind gamer OnlyFans chick playing Mortal Kombat, and he was making fun of me, I would be like, holy fuck, I made it. I made it. Seth MacFarlane has recognized me. I have made it. You know what I mean? That's I there's nothing but thank you, sir, may I have another. That's all. That's what you do, right? Like, it'd be the same thing if Carlin or Williams, rest in peace to both of them, if they made fun of you, as you know, I made it. You know, recognition. Oh my god. Just I just want to know. I want to know. The shit disturber in me wants to know. So, apparently the European Space Agency is sending disabled people into space. Now, as a Geordie LaForge fan, I'm, in theory, all for this. However, in practice, I'm not sure if at this stage, all of the things that disabled people need, like, unless you pick somebody with an invisible disability, which isn't fair to the physically disabled, I'm not sure how you would accommodate a physically disabled person on a spaceship. Yeah, I'm really not sure how you would accommodate, like, say somebody was in a wheelchair, right? Wheelchairs take up a lot of real estate. They're also heavy. Even the lightest weight and most maneuverable wheelchair is very hungry, or very hungry. Very happy. You have made it. I recognize you. Oh, thank you, Spittlebuggies. Thank you, Costin. Yes, the European Space Agency is starting its para-astronaut program, Jordan. Inverse magazine says what the ESA's pure or para-astronaut program means for disability in space. Now, as I said, if you have say you needed to use a wheelchair, that's going to take up a lot of real estate on that spaceship. Also, the lack of gravity is probably going to affect a disabled person a little bit more, like especially someone with like a muscular issue. Lack of gravity would definitely affect them more than an able-bodied person. Could you have somebody with an intellectual disability as an astronaut? Because not every intellectual disability means that you are cognitively impaired. However, under high stress situations, you know, sometimes there are people with intellectual disabilities can melt down. You can't have that on a spaceship. To be fair, in space, one wouldn't need a wheelchair. I would love to do a program like if they were in Ireland, do like a program for visually impaired people. It might be useful to see if somebody could. Oh, orientation in 0G. That might be an interesting experiment. That's true, Jordan. And could you make a now some of the things that a lot of the things in space unfortunately are very visual. There's a lot of graphs. There's a lot of charts. There's a lot of data displays that unfortunately at this point are not very accessible unless you have enough usable vision to read. Unless they specifically made like a refreshable display that could display the tables and charts. That would be interesting. Oops. For people with disabilities, the sky may not always be the limit. Well, no, but unfortunately, that's just how it is. Not quite 2 years after, not 2 years after Haley Arsenault became the first person with a prosthetic body part in space, the European Space Agency has launched a, quote, para-astronaut feasibility program, and future astronaut corps may include people with disabilities. Again, where do you draw the line of too disabled? Because there are, like, you need to be very, very physically fit to go up there, go up to space. You need, like, a lot of disabilities center around chronic illness. Can you risk sending somebody up to space that has a chronic illness? Where do you draw the line between able-bodied disabled person, meaning functionally disabled, and someone who is too disabled to go to space? Where do you draw that line? I guess that's what this program is designed to find out. Maybe? Imagine a flight to the International Space Station as the main engine cuts off and the weightlessness of space replaces the heavy G-forces of launch. The mission's pilot unbuckles themselves from a seat designed to keep their prosthetic knee at a comfortable angle. A few minutes later, they watch the Space Command discuss a science experiment with the mission specialist in American Sign Language. This could be a glimpse of the future. What's new? A glimpse of the future. What's new? Surgeon and Paralympic runner John McFall will spend the next several years working with engineers at the European Astronaut Center, figuring out how to adapt space design to accommodate crew members with amputations or other disabilities. Right. Fuck it, let's fire Ricky Berwick off into space. Ha! Just put the leg in overhead storage, F the straps. Like, I I could see like maybe amputees, deaf. Well, no, but because how do you do like? What if you're on a spacewalk as a deaf person? Could you send the deaf person on a spacewalk? Because would you have like you wouldn't be able to have the interpreter there with them fucking signing in space gloves. How the fuck are you gonna do that? You're gonna have a real-time teleprompter that's reproducing what the like, I get that they're trying to make progress, and I love everything to do with space myself, Jordan. But you also have to look at this realistically. It's very hard, like, to accommodate disabled people for space. He'll participate in simulated spaceflight analog missions and will communicate with commercial space companies and other space agencies about his experiences. Quote, ESA is ready to invest in defining the necessary adaptations of space hardware in an effort to enable these otherwise excellently qualified professionals to serve as professional crew members on a safe and useful space mission, said the agency in a press release in February 2021 when it first issued the call for people with disabilities to apply for the ESA, for what the ESA calls the quote para astronaut feasibility project. McFall won the gold medal for the 200-meter sprint at the Paralympic World Cup in 2007. So yeah, that's the that's that story. And as I said, I'm all for progress, but we have to figure out how to make disability, like, because accommodating disabled people is very difficult on Earth sometimes, let alone let alone doing it in space. It's very difficult, and I think it's going to be very daunting, but the more power to them. Oh no, they absolutely should try. I'm just bringing up questions of things that should be tested. Like, how would you communicate to a deaf person if the deaf astronaut was on a spacewalk? Because you obviously couldn't use a radio. Or, you know, how does zero-G affect somebody with an amputee or an amputation and a prosthetic limb? Or, you know, can you know, somebody with high functioning, say, autism, still be accommodated properly on a ship? Because a lot of people with high functioning autism are incredibly intelligent, have incredible focus, especially when it comes to the things that they're very good at. So like, we absolutely need to test all of these things. I was just bringing up different questions and different scenarios that I really hope that get tested, because as somebody, as I said, as somebody who's a Geordie LaForge fan, fucking disabled people in space would be awesome. I just want to make sure that we do it safely and we test it properly. So, we've got an article right here that I actually grabbed because there's I get a lot of questions about what do blind people see. And I know that you guys have followed me for a while, and you know what I see. But I thought it would be interesting, or what I don't see. But I thought it would be interesting to go over some of the different ways that blind people see or don't see. Just as so that anyone who comes across this stream in an archive format can actually take a listen to this, and it's a fairly good breakdown from USA Today. They do a fairly good job of breaking down the different types of visual impairment and talking about how most blind people still have some usable vision. Well, not even, it's not always usable. It's, light perception and stuff, but you can still use light perception to help you orient. Vibrating gloves using Morse code to get blind press into space. Yes! Yes! So this says, what do blind people see? What to know about sight for those with visual impairment. Let's see, about 12 million Americans over the age of 40 and almost 3% of those 18 and younger are blind or visually impaired, according to the CDC. That's a lot for one country. So that's just in the States. So 12 million Americans over the age of 40 and 3% of Americans under the age of 18. How many people in the United States are under 18?
Okay. Total population by child and adult populations in the United States. Best source for child websites. Heading. U.S. indicators. Percent of the population under age 18 PRB. While the total number of children in the United States has grown slightly since 2000, the share of the population that is under age 18 decreased to 25.7%. Ellipsis, PRB.org. Adult population grew faster than total population. Show Google results. Listen. Button. So 25% of 33 or 330 million. What's 25% of 330 million?
25% times 330 million is 82,500,000.
What is 3% of 82,500,000?
3% times 82,500,000 is 2,475,000.
So about 2.5 million kids are blind or visually impaired, and about 12 million people over the age of 40 are blind. There are more blind people than trans people in the US. Yep. So let's see. Because of the variety of visual impairments that exist, it's difficult to generalize about the experiences of the blind and visually impaired. But for those wanting to learn more about the blind community, we spoke with staff members of the New View Oklahoma, a nonprofit organization which provides rehabilitation, employment, and community programming to the blind and visually impaired in the state of Oklahoma. Here's what we asked them. What do blind people see? According to Ronita Smalley, Senior Director of Clinical and Rehabilitation Operations at New View, Oklahoma, there are two definitions of legal blindness. Someone is legally blind if they have central vision, the opposite of peripheral vision, of 20/200 or worse in their best corrected eye. So like pinpoints of like just central vision. Someone is also considered legally blind if they have less than 20 degrees of vision in their best corrected eye, which Smalley says would be similar to looking through a paper towel roll. Oh, so that's tunnel vision. That's tunnel vision. Okay. People who are blind or otherwise visually impaired fall within a wide range of acuities, and even most people who are legally blind have some sort of visual perception, Smalley says. Yeah. I think it's about, at the highest, I think it's 15% of blind people are totally blind. And I think something like 2 to 5% of those people have prosthetic eyes. Blind gamer extraordinaire. I will check her out. Blindness is really a spectrum, says Ashley Hard, New View's Vice President of Marketing and Communications. Just because someone is blind doesn't mean they are seeing a quote, solid black curtain, Smalley says. Many of those who are blind still have light perception, which allows them to see, quote, clouds of light and can help them orient themselves in different spaces, Smalley says. Smalley also explained that lighting, contrast levels, and more can help affect how well the visually impaired can see. For example, a red apple resting on a well-lit white countertop might be easier to perceive than the same apple on a brown counter in a poorly lit space. Smalley emphasizes that visual memory plays an important role in the experience of the blind and visually impaired. Yep. Because even when a blind person touches an object, the visual cortex is activated. How many people are blind because of preventable illness? Ha! Well, it's about 60,000 people. 60,000 kids a year still go blind from the measles, but I'm guessing those are mostly in third world countries. Quote, typically people are not blind from birth, she said. And some of them still have some visual memory from when they still had some sight, she said. This allows people to form pictures of their surroundings despite vision loss. But visual memory isn't perfect, and as such, it is not always accurate, Smalley said. For example, someone who has visual memory of a poodle might map the attributes of a poodle onto other dogs that do not look very similar, but despite its imperfections, Smalley says visual memory can be helpful for orientation and navigation in public and in your home. Yep. What do blind people dream about? Smalley says visual memory also plays an important role in dreaming, even if someone is totally blind. They may see objects, places, and faces they remember in their dreams. Smalley also says those who are totally blind still experience visual phenomena in their dreams. Quote, if you haven't really seen things, your mind just makes up its own pictures, she explains. That does happen to me sometimes. Most of the time, my dreams are just audible. It's just movies without a picture, but sometimes I do randomly see shadows. So that's true. So let's see. Visual memory is imperfect, but those who are visually impaired can still have an understanding of the spatial layout of the world around them, especially when they're in familiar spaces like their home or workplace. So they can dream about specific places just like everyone else. Yep. Those who are blind can also experience other sensory phenomena in their dreams. Some who are blind report experiencing an olfactory and tactile sensations in their sleep, according to the Huffington Post. I've never had an olfactory response, but I have had tactile responses, and I have had like audio phenomena. Um, I yeah, I've not had an olfactory uh response though. Um, which that would be weird to me if that happened. um, what else does this say? But not all blind and visually impaired people report dreaming. Quote, I talked to a lot of people who are totally blind who say that they really don't have dreams, Smalley said. I have not met any blind person that says that. I'm not saying they don't exist. I have just not come across any blind person that doesn't dream. Why do blind people wear sunglasses? Not all of those who are blind or visually impaired wear sunglasses all the time. But Smalley says there are a few reasons people may choose to wear sunglasses. I wear sunglasses in the summer because it's construction season in the summer, and I want to keep like construction dust out of my prosthetics, plus the pollen and crap. I want to keep that out of my eyes. So that's why I wear sunglasses. Mainly sunglasses are worn by members of the blind community to protect their eyes. If some visual impairment makes their eyes extra sensitive to light, the sun and bright overhead lighting can be a nuisance or can even further damage their eyesight. Yep, it definitely can. If you have a light sensitivity and you expose yourself to more light, you absolutely can damage the rest of your sight. Foreign objects can also cause damage to eyes, especially if you can't see them coming, and it's important for those with low vision to protect the remaining visual acuity. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to risk a freaking stone come flying into my eye. Yeah, that's Pincalo's probably right. He's probably the those blind people that say they don't dream just don't recall them. Just like a lot of the sighted people that say they don't dream. Because I'm pretty sure everybody dreams. It's just that not everybody remembers their dreams. Because the brain, like, I can't remember where I read this, but the brain literally, like, if you're not dreaming and like in that like part of sleep, your brain is not producing the proper chemicals and you're not getting the actual proper sleep you need. And you literally need to be in a dream state of sleep at least for a little bit each night, because there's something about REM sleep that is very it's almost like healing from the day, and without that you can actually become chemically imbalanced. which a lot of blind people are chemically imbalanced. For example, because I don't get the chemicals from the sun, the vitamins from the sun, and I don't have the proper circadian rhythm, I'm constantly trying to, like, I'm always sleepy during the day, and awake at night, and I also struggle with depression. Regardless of how good things are in my life and or not, I just struggle with depression. Photophobia, I had to wear the equivalent of welding lenses or 80% masks. Dot masks or monofilter. Oh god. That sucks. Smalley doesn't typically wear sunglasses indoors, but she understands how vision loss or blindness can affect social cues. Because I have macular degeneration, I look off to the side. I look over to the side to see people, and when I do that, people often look over their shoulders to see if I'm talking to someone behind them. Oh. Those who don't want to draw attention to their visual impairment may also wear sunglasses to make social interactions less awkward for themselves and others, she said. How do blind people read? Braille is how the blind and visually impaired people read. Smalley says learning Braille is important for those who are visually impaired from a young age. Braille is a form of literacy, she said. Just like you learned how to spell things with a pencil, you don't learn how to spell with a pencil, but okay, you learn how to write with a pencil. Just like you learn how to spell with a pencil in kindergarten or first grade, they have to have a way to write things down as well. People who lose their vision when they are adults don't have the same sensitivity in their fingertips. They have a more difficult time actually learning Braille, Smalley said. But for those who were literate at the time they lost their vision, or for those who gained literacy with Braille, reading and writing, Smalley says, there are other options. Quote, there's so much technology out now that using the Audible format is great, she said. Yeah, it's great, but you need to at least try to learn Braille, because you're going to learn, like, even if you lose your sight as an adult, your brain's not perfect. It's not going to hold on to that memory of letters and everything. You will, because your brain will need to make room for all the new things that you have to learn. So other shit will have to go. Dreaming is defragging, clearing your cache, and resetting your neurotransmitters. Yep. You literally have to dream or you will go fucking insane. Like that episode of Star Trek, that Night Terrors episode, it wasn't wrong. Like you do have to dream. Otherwise you will fucking go crazy. Computer softwares such as JAWS make laptops and desktop computers more accessible to those with visual impairments, and most smartphones have accessibility features. Many mobile apps also offer text-to-speech services for objects in the real world, such as groceries with nutrition labels or street signs. Because adults who experience vision loss likely already know how to read and write, they might prefer audible options such as screen readers and text-to-speech apps. But Smalley says it's still important for these people to learn some Braille for navigational purpose, such as finding bathrooms, hotel rooms, offices and buildings, and more. Yep. You have to at least try. You literally have to try as best you can to Well, I'm an idiot. I accidentally closed the StreamYard window. Huh! My favorite is when I get letters from the local government in 23 different languages. Holy shit! Literal, that's insane. 23 different languages. Good God. That's crazy. That was really funny that I did that. So our last story is a Reddit thing. And it's glorious because I guess this coworker was dealing with a disabled person who was trying to use their disability to get out of everything. So, yeah, this disabled person got their karma. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I'm going to have to get out of my chair because my back really fucking hurts. Again. Okay. Let's go to the StreamYard page. We'll do that. We'll do this. Here we go. Okay. So, are you laughing at me? Okay, so this is a Newsweek article. Man getting disabled female colleague cheered, not a free pass. So, the 5 most effective ways to deal with a toxic coworker. A Reddit user has been voted, quote, not the asshole, for telling a colleague their disability is not a free pass to be an asshole, or to be an asshole and getting them suspended. Awesome. User something New Yorker describes themselves as a 29-year-old male who has recently started, quote, a new position at the beginning of November with a decent-sized law firm in my city. They explain that despite enjoying their job, they began hearing, quote, horror stories around a member of the office. We will call them Jay. I've heard that the last 2 people that took this position were basically bullied out of the post by Jay, and that anybody who makes any complaints to HR basically gets told to put up and shut up for 2 reasons. The Reddit user explained, quote, firstly, Jay, despite not being the most popular person in the office, is very good at what she does. 2, to the point the company sees her as invaluable, and second, Jay is a wheelchair user and is apparently very quick to throw the disability card around, or discrimination card around, as soon as something doesn't go her way. Another key point to this tale is that I use a stoma bag. Oh. And have done since I was a baby. So they're also disabled.
So it's disabled versus disabled?
Yes. Can you refill my coffee, please? Honey pie? Tweety pie? Well, my cup's in here. Let's see. Move past the advertising. Why are you being such a dick? Okay. They go on to describe their first interaction with Jay.
My hands were full.
They go on to describe their first interaction with Jay when they used the disabled bathroom to empty their stoma bag. Normal. They wrote, quote, I started hearing a loud banging on the door. I said, one moment, and opened the door to a lady in a wheelchair, the infamous Jay. I was berated for about 5 minutes. Things such as, why is a healthy young man using a disabled bathroom? I should be ashamed, etc., drawing the attention of everyone in the nearby vicinity before she even let me speak. I eventually got a word in, reminded her that not all disabilities are blatantly obvious, and lifted my shirt up to show her my bag. She went bright red, and I got on with my day. Idiot. Idiot. Crypt Battle Bots, go! Yep, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Crypt Battle Bots.
There you go.
Thank you.
My disability is worse than your disability.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
The next day, the user reported that there was a sign on the bathroom saying, quote, wheelchair users only. After commenting to another member of the staff, quote, have you seen Jay's latest stunt? They then received an email from HR and a verbal warning. No, they don't. No, that's not okay. First of all, they can't just say that the disability bathroom is for wheelchair users only, because wheelchair users are not the only disabled people on the fucking planet. And second of all, he's allowed to comment to somebody about that latest stunt, and then he gets the email and the warning? Really? The Reddit user then describes how they lost their cool with Jay and told her, quote, the only reason she is still in a job is because of how long she has been with the business, and that she isn't going to bully me out of my position like she had my two predecessors. Jay was then suspended, according to the user, for, quote, gross misconduct, and their verbal warning was, quote, expunged. Good! Because that's crap. I have often advised people with social anxiety disorders to get a disability bathroom key, as it is a place to go when it gets too much for them. That's a good, yeah. That's a good decision, or a good solution. Quote, whilst nobody is openly celebrating Jay's departure, as would be a bit classless, there certainly seems to be a better atmosphere around the office. So I guess that's a positive, the user said. Good on this guy. Good on him. Good on him for doing that, because that's absolutely unacceptable. That is absolutely that's not okay. Newsweek spoke to Jared Hope, an HR specialist and founder of WorkShield, about the controversial post. He said, quote, situations like these, including any Title VII incident, which is, in parentheses, a section of the Civil Rights Act, which bans employment discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, including pregnancy and religion, that occurs in the workplace, can be sticky drama situations that have to be handled with care, expertise, and most importantly, ensuring everyone has a voice to be a voice to be truly heard. With that understanding, the proverbial other side of the coin, one thing can be stated clearly: incidents related to discrimination and harassment, as well as any workplace misconduct, is best handled by a third party to ensure the removal of any, whether conscious or not, as removal of any bias, whether conscious or not, as well as maintain an objective and concrete framework in which these investigations are handled to handle. Otherwise, allows for processes to be overlooked, skipped, sidetracked, or disregarded, which in turn allows voices to not be truly heard. Blah 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 blah
And
blah.
that's bullshit. You know why?
Why?
Because the visual disability will always trump the non-visual disability. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you take a wheelchair versus you,
Mm-hmm.
wheelchair will win.
Yep.
And we've been over this. We've seen this in real life. And sorry, if you're in a wheelchair, hopefully you're not one of the 99% of them that are assholes. But, and I'll say this because I've been around enough of them. A lot of them are nice, but like the blind people, a lot of them are nice. Many are assholes.
Like I would, if a person in a wheelchair, like say I had the kids as toddlers again, right? And I would always use the disabled bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I need extra room to deal with the kids and make sure that I know what I'm
You're
doing.
supposed to. The disabled bathrooms double as family bathrooms.
I've seen people in wheelchairs bitch about that.
Yeah.
There should be an extra bathroom for families, and I should have this one to myself.
And you ask that person, when was the last time you were in this store? And they'll say, I haven't been here in months. Well, tough shit. That's why. The reason is you're probably the only person in a wheelchair in this area that goes into this store, and I guarantee they don't have the traffic to have 2 extra bathrooms. A lot of it comes down to traffic.
Yep.
Same with parking spaces. Some parking lots have 50 disabled parking spaces.
Yep.
Other places have 2. Why? Because of traffic. Everything is based on statistics.
Mm-hmm. On Reddit, other users supported the original poster. Some other person said, quote, ambulatory wheelchair user here, and 100% agree. I also have invisible disabilities and have to use the accessible toilet before I got my wheelchair. Never assume all disability is visible. Most isn't. User Blurgus wrote, quote, you would think someone who works at a law firm, disabled or not, would know better than to screw with the ADA compliance, right? Yeah, so everyone is a lot of people on Reddit are basically backing this person, which they should. They absolutely should, because it's not like, just because you're disabled doesn't mean you get to bully the office and hold it over people's heads.
I hope Spittlebuggy knows. I'm not talking about you, and I hope you understand the ones that I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sure they
Because
do.
they're the ones that run over your feet, if you're just a little too far in line. The ones that feel they're entitled to fucking everything. The ones that don't ask, they order.
I've been on the bus and gotten up for a wheelchair user because nobody else would, and had the motherfuckers purposely roll over my fucking foot and not even apologize for it.
Yeah, and then there's the ones that have yelled at you for being in the disabled spot.
And I've had my cane out.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by cripple fights are a real thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The changing tables are in the disabled stalls around here. I wish they did that. I'm in a wheelchair using crutches and I hate the entitled little cunts. I have not seen a changing table inside a disabled stall. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, that was everything I had for today. I just wanted you guys to know about the Molly video, and I hope you guys remember to go and check that out. That Molly Family Guy episode, and remember, come back and comment in the upload what you thought about it, because I'll be on Twitch tomorrow morning for Beat the Blind Girl, and I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on Twitch tomorrow. Fare thee well, friends.